Hey guys, it's Kirk from the Forever Homestead. So it is beginning of September. Yesterday was Labor Day, so we're at the 3rd, I guess. Today's actually a pretty big day. We're going to start putting the hardwood floor down, which is super exciting because that kind of changes the house from a construction site to an actual house. You know, take your shoes off as you come in. We've been kind of trucking along, doing a lot of little projects. There isn't a lot of video on some of it because it's just kind of boring. Now we did get the ceiling in. My son came down to help with that. There's still some more that has to go in, so I'll kind of bring you along on that journey. The great room ceiling, it took quite a while to do, but it was hard to record because everything was way up on scaffolding and there's nowhere to put the cameras and everything. But we're kind of, the house is getting at that stage. We want to get in. Well, we wanted to be in by now, but we still don't have occupancy. There's still some big things that need to be done. So we're hoping in a month, like at least by Thanksgiving, we want to be in because it's starting to get cool at night. It's nice and warm in here, but we need to finish up some big things, some railings and some the kitchen that's going in this weekend. So we're working along. So yesterday, I started to do some work. You can see I got some plywood down. The reason we're doing plywood is because we have to raise the level of the floor up because we're going to do flagstone on the edges there. So we have to raise this up by ½ an inch. But I am going to get working on getting all that in now, and I'm going to start with these beams here and undercut them all. So the first step is we have to undercut the beams here. Basically, we want the hardwood to slide in a little bit underneath the beam instead of seeing like an edge here, because that, as the wood expands and contracts, that gap will grow. So we're just using an oscillating saw, and let's see if I can get you to see it here. We're cutting in I'm cutting in a 3/4 of an inch gap underneath the timber, chiseling it out, and then when the wood goes in, it'll actually go in, ½ an inch or so underneath the post, and that will still allow an expansion gap between the wood and the post, so things don't buckle. But that is basically our plan. Actually, it looks like I need to pull that one out a little bit more, but it's pretty simple. All I do is take a plank and just flip it upside down like that. Around here. I just flip that. Just take a plank and flip it upside down, and then this saw has a blade that kind of can rust on it, and then we just run the blade along that there to get our top line, and then I've also been running it under or on the bottom here. It just helps when I'm chiseling to get it out easier, and I do that on these ones on all 3 sides, and on the ends it's just on 2 sides we have to do it, but it goes pretty smooth. I'll show you how.
Think that we're crazy. They just haven't seen love this plainly. When they ask what on earth is going on, just tune your record in and play this song. 'Cause to me our love is is like an old-fashioned. Finest whiskey poured out in our glasses. You are something sweet. Sip you slow, then repeat. You're the habit I thought I could be, but old-fashioned love's got a hold of me. Baby, I don't care, I don't think I'd even mind. Between holding your hand, what I'm feeling in the bottles of wine. You just might be something that could stick. Well, at least I put my money down.
So it's not really too hard, it's just a little bit slow going. I have one more to do. Sorry, I have one more to do, and then I will be able to start getting the flooring in. The first row is going to be the hardest, and then once I get going, it should go fairly smooth. Famous last words, I guess. I hope to get up. So the pile of lumber there, part of it is the remaining ceiling for up in the loft, and then the other part of it is it's unfinished hemlock that we're going to use on the covered porch out front here. We ordered it all at the same time. Like every project, thinking I'm going to have all kinds of time, but it's going to be pretty tight to get that on. So we may end up moving that into the basement. But the plan is, well, this week I'm doing flooring, so by the end of the week I should have it all in. But the plan is I definitely have to have the kitchen, the great room basically done, and the kitchen in, because that, like I said, goes in on Saturday. Once I get, I still have the scaffolding set up here because I want to still try to get my light fixture in. Big copper pipes hanging down here. Want to get them in so I can use the scaffolding instead of having to try to set because there's a big island here, instead of trying to set a ladder on the island to get up to it. Because it's like, I don't know, that's probably 19 feet, 16 feet up or something like that. So I'm still painting that copper and then get that up there. And then we're going to take that lumber and move it over here onto the finished flooring. But like I said, maybe when I have some help on the weekend, I might see if I can get that downstairs. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish that before the cold hits. So anyway, I'm ranting. Here we go. I'm going to continue on. I have almost finished the first 2 rows of hardwood. It's not showing up very well on my screen. I hope you can see it better than I can on my screen. I still have to do a little piece in the corner there. And then I've got the back row, which is the hardest one to do. I got to fill in around the door there. Honestly, I didn't take that into account when I did my lines and everything. But I'll show you what I'm doing now that I've kind of figured it out a little bit. I've never done hardwood before, so this is kind of a little bit of a learning curve for me. We've done the ceiling and it's kind of the same idea. But so anyway, what I'm doing, because the floor nailer can't get right up against the wall, I'm face nailing the back of it because there's going to be trim anyway. But to hold it in place, so it doesn't cup up and it'll help support the actual, like the first row or the next row that's going on it. I put down some construction adhesive, and then I set the board in place. And I just use my stapler, not the floor stapler, but my regular crown molding stapler. And I staple the back down within an inch to the wall because my trim's going to cover that. And then using the same crown stapler, I staple the tongue just like I did on the tongue and groove ceiling. Basically those staples, they're not nearly as strong as the ones from the floor stapler, but they will hold the board in place at least until the glue sets.
Cause to me our love is like an old-fashioned. Finest whiskey poured out in our glasses. You are something sweet. Sip you slow then repeat. You're the habit I thought I could be, but old-fashioned love's got a hold on me. Old-fashioned love's got a hold on me. Yeah, old-fashioned love. We've had pain and lovers go. We've been around enough to know that what this world really means is something like you and me. Bitter with a touch of sweet, cold but it goes down with ease. Old-fashioned love is what this world really needs.
So I got a good start in. It goes fairly smooth. Basically, I come up with a little bit of a system. It'd be easier to have multiple people, one person laying out, one person cutting, that kind of thing. But what I do is I go through and I roughly lay out 2 rows, to stagger my seams, all that kind of stuff. And then I nail 2 rows in at once. When I get to the end, I do my cuts to make it the length that I need, and then I use those 2 scraps to start my next row if they're half-decent size. If they're too small, then I just kind of toss them away, but I don't want to have too much scrap, but that seems to be working out, so but be careful. On the last one, I was going along, and I was 3/4 of the way through and realized, hey, that just moved and it shouldn't have, and I ran out of staples, so I ended up having to pull 1/4 of those 2 rows back up to put staples in it. More on. But yeah, I'll do a couple of rows and kind of show you how it's going.
The best thing and the worst thing happened today. She moved on with another guy and got engaged, and now my heart's set free from its cage. But it stings like hell on the way out. The best thing and the worst thing happened today. I'm moving on, I'm moving on, I'm moving on. I'm driving 99 down the 405. Down and blaring, third eye blind, because I've never been so alone, and I've never been so alive. Driving 99 down the 405, yeah. I'm moving on, I'm moving
Alright, so I've got the floor done as far as I can with the scaffolding here. The wheel's just on where the plywood's going to be, so I've got like 4 more rows to do before I have to stop, because that's where the flagstone goes. I need to put a piece of plywood in there to fill in where the floor is going, and then get the plywood down the hall. But first, I've got to get the scaffolding out of here. It served me well, but I'm really excited to finally be done with it. Yesterday, so I left it in here because I needed to get up to those 2 junction boxes there, and instead of trying to use a ladder over top of the island and all that kind of stuff, I did it all yesterday. These light kits that we bought, they're kind of cool lights, and I misread the box. You can see there it says that it goes 16 1/4 inches to 64 1/4 inches, and I kind of read that quickly in Home Depot as 16 feet, and we needed, we needed close to that. So what we ended up doing is they come with these little pipes that can give you the maximum of 16 inches, but what we ended up doing was using some black, or I just used some copper 1/2 inch pipe and spray painted it matte black, extended the electrical inside of it, and tied everything together. So I haven't put the shades on them yet, because we're going to be working on the island, and we're going to bang our heads all over these things. So I did as much as I can, and then we'll just put something underneath here so we don't walk into them. But that's finished now. I'm going to go up to the top with the spray paint and some cardboard or something, and there's a couple of spots that I kind of dinged up as I was installing them. And then last night when I wasn't sleeping, when I should have been sleeping, I realized I haven't put those chimney pipe pieces on yet. So what I want to do before I move the scaffolding is I'm just going to clear a little bit of stuff here and get up to the chimney insert, or the chimney where it goes through the ceiling there. And I'm just going to put 2 sections of that pipe on. It's just single wall pipe. I'm just going to hang those on and use some self-tapping screws to hang it down, because then when our wood stove comes in, I won't have to use a ladder or anything to get up to it, because it's kind of a precarious spot to get into, but I'll just be able to start working on it from the stairs there and just hang the rest of the pipe. So I think that'll take me, all of like 30 minutes to get that done, and then I can disassemble the scaffolding and move it out of the house for the day, or permanently. And then I can do a quick sweeping and continue on with the floor. I hope by the end of the day today to have all these kind of sections cut in and have the floor up to where the wall is there. So then starting on Saturday morning, we can. I know that the kitchen's ready to go. I still have tomorrow. Today is only Thursday, so I still have tomorrow that I can work on flooring as well. But hopefully, I'm done the kitchen part today, and then tomorrow I can work and get back into the bedroom and all that kind of stuff. It's the 5th of September today, and I wasn't too panicked about getting in. I wanted to be in by September 1st, just because that was my goal all summer. But it's, the kids are back to school now, and we're using an outdoor shower, and mornings are just chaotic right now because everyone's sleeping all over the place in the bunkie, in the house, just all kinds of craziness going on. So mornings are a little bit rough, and I don't think anyone's really enjoying it. And it's the really scary part is it's getting cold. Last night was down to I think it went down to 7 degrees. So I mean, it's nice and warm in here, thankfully, with all that spray foam. Our oldest daughter, Allison, she said that she was warm in the bunkie because that is insulated as well, not to the same extent as this, but we just kind of want to get everyone under one roof. It feels a little bit cozier if everyone's under one roof. So we're really trying to push another week or so, and it's going to seem like a completely different house. So just got to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Yeah, so don't push those ones together, just line them up kind of.
Oh, okay.
And when you start this row, start it back here, because I need to be able to swing the hammer in there, right?
So where do you want me to start?
Just like that, yeah. And then that one can be right directly behind it like it is.
What's hard is that, like, oh, these pieces are going to be under the bed, so do I put the pretty
yeah,
one?
yeah, that's right.
You'll never see it.
Yeah, when I did the island, I made sure I put ugly ones underneath it. take your end one there, put a longer one in there, and then this whole thing can go down a bit. See, because you got the exact.
Oh, okay.
And you almost have the same thing here. So by shoving it down, you'll get rid of both of them. See how long of one you have. Like that one might actually fit in there then. The longer one, just like that. Is there one longer?
A little bit longer. I think this one's a little bit longer. Too longer.
No, we'll have to cut the one at the end, that's all. No big deal.
You do a shorty one?
You could go really short. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, caught my butt. This one though, I don't want it to be all under the bed.
If not. Those are sugar maples.
I 17, wild and free, and brown hair flowing in the wind, speeding down that 2-lane street, most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And when I finally got your name, I couldn't hide my stupid smile. A Friday night after the game, your blue eyes stole my heart away. Yeah. They said we were too young to know